Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jack Callow with The Exchange. Today we have a rather special guest. For once, it is not a politician and it is not a governor. So if you'd like, can you please introduce yourself for the audience at home?
Certainly. I'm Jessica Ashbrook, the Assistant State Attorney for the San Andreas Department of Justice. I have been an attorney for a little over a year now, unsure the exact length, and have been in state for almost 2 years. Served more on the criminal prosecution side than the civil, just out of preference and experience of what I do have. Prior to that, I had a tour of 7 years of the United States Navy as a SEAL, where I was medically discharged after an IED went off after my Humvee and spent a year just traveling the States before arriving here.
That's rather extensive history. Now, for the people who may not know, can you explain the day-to-day life as an active member of the DOJ, such as your duties and responsibilities?
Definitely can. So, first and foremost, there's different rankings in the Department of Justice. We'll start with the paralegals, who are extremely vital and important to the day-to-day work. Paralegals are either folks who just wish to eventually take the bar examination and want to learn how at the Department of Justice we handle affairs, or individuals who want to assist and support with paperwork, cases, and so on and so forth. They tend to help with research, learn the laws and HRs of the state, as well as actively support a prosecutor in the cells when needed as an observer. Now, the prosecutors are the majority of the department and handle cases, cell calls, answering any generalized questions that the public might have, or handling internal paperwork. They are the bread and butter of our department. We then have our senior prosecutors. They handle more internal paperwork and serve as the individuals with a large amount of knowledge and seniority to pass on to the prosecutors in the department if they have questions or concerns in case I am permanently preoccupied or handling situations where I cannot personally attend. They handle more of the matters and also are seen taking the cases as well. Myself, the Assistant State Attorney, oversees day-to-day matters for the department, assisting cases and any questions that might be had. I spend a lot of time assisting the State Attorney with any affairs and monitoring new HRs, new laws, and speaking hand-to-hand with the majority of the law enforcement when asked for my opinions in any of other governmental departments. All the prosecutors are able to assist anyone as long as they have a bar certification through SABA.
And given that you are part of DOJ and you have been part of DOJ for a long time, surely like public perception is something that you guys really look at from time to time, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the current public opinion is of like towards the DOJ? Like, do you feel you're in a good place, in a bad place, and do you feel there's something you can do to improve any, if there is a negative outlook on it?
See, I've heard mixed things on the public opinion of the department. I'm not a voice for the public on their opinion or of how we are. That is on them to decide at the end of the day. I'm more than happy to sit down and talk with individuals if the case may be. I always think everyone has a place of improvement. Do I think the department can improve on? Yeah, always. We're human at the end of the day and even have our own areas to improve on. The department itself has taken several steps to address the concerns about the perceived bias, unequal application of the law, or skepticism about the judicial system as a whole. We try our best to regularly communicate our actions and decisions so that we can dispel any misconceptions.
So we did speak about like how civilians might view the DOJ, but how do you view your relationship with the civilians of the city? Do you feel like your job has too many restrictions to allow you to really connect with them?
My relationship, I have many individuals I see on a day-to-day basis. I have pleasant conversations with, and if I have the ability to come out of the office for a period of time to actually speak to them. I don't recall off the top of my head where I have had a bad interaction with defined individuals of the state. As I previously voiced this myself, there's always room for improvement to grow in any position or state that you're in. If you cannot do that, then I believe you're not looking out for the betterment of yourself. You are an individual who can change your life and take the matters in your own hand. If there's improvement that I can have, I welcome people to come talk to me.
And speaking on improvement, like, mind you, I'm asking this question for your personal thoughts, not to speak on the DOJ and the matter, not to speak for the department as a whole. What do you feel about the current state of the government? More specifically, how separate branches coincide and act with civilians and with each other.
With the election just finishing, I firmly believe that it's still too early to tell as far as the new elected seats. I would like to see how things develop in the future further as the legislative branch is concerned. Other branches, as I stated in the last one, we all have our areas to improve on. All of us are continuously having changes may not seen to the public eye, but movement happens every minute in our departments. That's what makes us different, in my opinion, and I believe that is the current state of the government. Everything is always moving and fluctuating.
And do you believe there's currently enough respect between government branches? Like, let's exclude the executive and the legislature at the moment because they did just get reelected. It's brand new people. But let's say between like the Department of Justice and the police department, park rangers, do you feel there's enough respect and transparency between your departments at the current moment, or do you feel that it's something that can be proved upon further?
Are you asking on our relationship between government branches as a whole with the DOJ?
Yes. Or
Okay.
yeah, like just with the DOJ at the moment, because like you can't really speak for the PD. Like,
No, but I can state that's been an area I've worked on during my tenure at the department as far as branching out to law enforcement and trying to let them know I'm there for them. It has been ups and downs, however. I believe in transparency, and that has been something we have been working on between government branches. I believe our rapport has been well, especially with law enforcement and particularly the Department of Human Services as of late.
I love the Department of Human Services. So, that being said, right, we've discussed how we feel like there's a pretty good amount of respect and transparency between the DOJ and current other active departments. Do you feel that there is a specific branch of the government? Actually, let me rephrase that. How would you describe your current relationship with other branches, like one by one, if you could? So, like with PD, Department of Human Services, SAMS, etc.
I'm unsure how to answer that question as that wasn't really sent along to me, Jack.
That's like number 7.
Oh, you're at. I already answered number 7 because I thought you were asking number 6's question to number 7.
I might have attached them both.
Well, it would be the same answer, so.
Not either way, then. So, is there anything that you would like to tell anyone listening right now that feels that maybe approaching the DOJ with information in regards to like the mistreatment from another government official is hard, you know? Like, because the DOJ is supposed to be the office that represents the people of Los Santos, but is it something you would tell someone who feels like they can't trust the DOJ with that information?
Actually, unfortunately, that is not a field the Department of Justice handles. Any claims of mistreatment has to go to the members of Law Enforcement Command or the U.S. Marshal Service itself. We, as the Department of Justice, cannot investigate anything regarding this. However, we can get in contact with those who are needed to be able to make sure that you are connected with the right people.
That's rather odd. I thought that you would have a bit more like to do with that, seeing as like the DOJ is the prosecuting body within the state, correct?
We are the prosecuting body, yes, but again, as I stated, that usually goes to Law Enforcement Command or the U.S. Marshal Service.
That's rather interesting to know, honestly. I thought there'd be a second step, like if you couldn't contact the marshal, you felt that that was unsafe to. So it has to go to the marshals regardless, then.
Correct.
Huh. That actually answered a pretty big question I had. Like, not even joking, that answered a very big question I had. So, we actually ran through this interview pretty fast. I wasn't expecting it to, like, be this fast.
Well, I'm pretty organized, as all things considered, Jack, and I do know the department well, so.
No, it just doesn't feel like we spent much time at all. Like, I thought there'd be more to it, like, more, like, meat on the bones, but looking at it now, I guess you could say that you're probably running one of the most functional departments in the city.
I wouldn't state that we're the most functional. I wouldn't say we are dysfunctional. We are like any other department in the city. As I stated earlier on in the interview, we have our ups and downs just like anywhere. We're not perfect at the end of the day. We always have room for improvement.
Well, yeah, no one's perfect. I'm just saying, like, you guys really, I don't hear much complaints about you, to be perfectly honest, and that's saying something, because everyone complains to be about everyone.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it.
That being said, do you have any closing remarks for anyone who's listening? Civilians, politicians, cops, etc.?
I would say keep doing what you were doing and stay strong. If you're a politician or law enforcement, particularly SAFR, any members that have served with us, thank you first and foremost for your service, and stay strong, because I know there's some days that are easier than others. I've been there, done that, and we all feel the weight eventually.
Is there anyone you'd like to shout out?
Not directly, but I believe that if anyone in the government has not had a chance to speak with you, they should have this opportunity because it's extremely enlightening and a valuable experience.
Oh, you're far too kind. Is there anyone you want to send a message to?
No, actually.
You know you're the first person not to have a message to send out to someone?
Well, I am myself, and I tend to just keep to myself, Jack.
Actually, that is pretty common. How long has it been since we've last spoken?
A week now.
No, before that.
It was probably a few months, yeah.
Even though we're always around.
Yes, I know. I just get so busy with dockets and assisting everyone as needed, so
Well, I do hope that gets a little bit lighter as time goes on.
time will tell. Time will tell.
Is there anyone in particular that you think would benefit from doing an interview like this?
I thought long and hard on like maybe someone coming forth, but I really can't think of anyone. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Like I said, we've had a couple interesting guests. Like the Bex Lawson interview with Maxine Finch was spectacular, as was the Damian Key and Gracie McCoy. Sorry, why did her name slip my mind?
If there is one, maybe you should speak to the public defender's office.
The public defender's office is someone I would like to talk to. Mostly because they tend to be very on the front lines of everything. Someone else I'd really love to talk to is actually Tobias Tarts, but finding that man to have free time is nearly impossible.
It's just like interviewing me.
I'm surprised we even got the interview, I'll be honest.
Well, I had a bit more accommodation in my schedule than I was expecting tonight, so.
And honestly, that works out just fine. So, again, thank you for the interview. It was rather brief compared to my other ones, but you know what? That's not always a bad thing. Sometimes people just need some light listening.
Exactly. That's just me. I'm just someone light listening to, and I'm more of a listener than a talker, so.
In the future, once the government stabilizes, I would love to do this again, just to get your opinion like a month down the line after we've seen the work that these new state reps and the governor is going to be doing.
Definitely can plan for it. I can't promise anything. You know me.
Yeah, promises are pretty cheap in this city regardless.
Well, I don't like to put a promise forward that I cannot honor. It's just an old value thing.
It's always good to have values. And that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you tonight for listening to The Exchange. It has been Jack Callow. Have a good night.